The Golden Heart. Once in a thriving city by the sea, there lived a wealthy merchant named Vardhan. His stores were filled with the finest silks, spices, and gems. He had built a vast fortune over the years and lived in a grand mansion. But despite his wealth, Vardhan was known throughout the city for his greed. He hoarded his riches, charging exorbitant prices for his goods, and cared little for the well-being of others. His heart was cold and calculating, and he believed that wealth was the key to happiness and success. One evening, as Vardhan was closing his shop, he noticed an elderly woman standing outside. She was frail, with deep wrinkles etched into her face from years of hardship. In her hands, she held a small bundle of cloth, and her clothes were tattered. She approached the merchant and said, "Kind sir, I have little money, but I need to buy some rice for my family. Can you help me?" Vardhan, who had no patience for such requests, looked the woman up and down with disdain. "I sell goods for a fair price, nothing more," he said sharply. "If you don't have the money, you cannot buy my rice." The woman's eyes lowered in sorrow, and she turned to leave. But before she could take a step, a young man approached. He had been listening from a distance and saw the exchange between Vardhan and the woman. The young man was a humble traveler who had heard of the merchant's reputation. He had spent years learning from monks and had learned the importance of compassion and generosity. He walked up to Vardhan and said, "You have much, yet you refuse to share. What does your wealth mean if you have no love to give?" Vardhan, taken aback, said, "I earn my wealth through hard work. I owe no one anything. It is foolish to give away what I've worked so hard for." The traveler smiled kindly. "Your wealth may grow, but your heart remains poor, Vardhan. True wealth is not measured by gold or jewels, but by the richness of one's heart. You will never know true happiness until you learn to give." Vardhan scoffed, "I have no interest in empty words. My wealth brings me security and power, and that is enough." But the traveler did not leave. Instead, he walked over to the elderly woman, handed her a handful of coins, and said, "Here, buy the rice you need. May you find comfort in the kindness of others." The woman's eyes filled with tears of gratitude. She bowed deeply to the traveler and then turned to Vardhan, offering him a soft, thankful smile before leaving with the rice. Vardhan stood, staring at the young traveler in disbelief. The words of the traveler rang in his ears. For the first time, the merchant felt something stir inside him, something unfamiliar. He had always believed that wealth was his greatest asset, but now he wondered if there was something more to life than just accumulating things. The young traveler turned to Vardhan. "You see, Vardhan, wealth comes and goes, but compassion is something that grows the more we share. What you give with an open heart not only helps others, but it also transforms you." That night, Vardhan could not sleep. He lay awake in his lavish bed, staring at the ceiling, his mind racing. The words of the traveler echoed in his mind, "True wealth is not measured by gold or jewels, but by the richness of one's heart." Vardhan felt a sense of emptiness within him. Despite all his wealth, he had never felt the joy of giving, the warmth that came from helping others. As the sun rose the next morning, Vardhan made a decision. He went to his store, called his servants, and instructed them to give away rice, grains, and clothing to the poor. He even gave a large sum of money to a nearby orphanage. He had no expectations of receiving anything in return, but for the first time, he felt a warmth in his chest. As the day went on, Vardhan's heart grew lighter, and a sense of peace washed over him. Over time, Vardhan's generosity became known throughout the city. People who had once feared his harsh business dealings now came to him for help. Vardhan didn't just give material wealth, he offered his time, his advice, and his kindness. His store flourished, not because of his wealth, but because of his reputation as a compassionate man. His transformation was so profound that even the poor, who once feared his greed, now called him the merchant with a golden heart. One day, the same traveler returned to the city. He was passing through, and when he visited Vardhan's store, he was amazed at the change in the merchant. The once cold man now greeted him with a warm smile and invited him for tea. "Thank you for showing me the true meaning of wealth," Vardhan said. "Your words changed my life. I have found more happiness in giving than I ever did in keeping." The traveler smiled gently, his eyes twinkling. "I did not teach you anything, Vardhan. You had the capacity for kindness all along. You simply needed to open your heart and let it flow." Vardhan nodded, feeling truly grateful for the traveler's wisdom. "I now understand. True wealth lies in the heart, not in the things we own. The more I give, the richer I become." From that day onward, Vardhan became known not only as a successful merchant but as a benefactor who transformed the lives of many. His store, once a symbol of greed, became a center of charity and compassion. And every time he gave, his heart grew even richer, until it was filled with a golden warmth that no amount of material wealth could ever bring. Moral of the story: true wealth is not found in the accumulation of material possessions, but in the generosity and compassion we offer to others. When we open our hearts and give without expecting anything in return, we experience a deeper, more lasting form of richness. Compassion and love are the greatest treasures of all, and they have the power to transform not only others, but ourselves as well. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more valuable content like this. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.